Okay. Thanks a lot. Thanks everyone for joining again. We meet again. And yeah, so this time around we've got Elize Brady, who will take us through the wonderful world of natural cosmetics, formulating and manufacturing of these, and going green, which we see is a growing trend. And so, just a brief intro about Elize. She is the owner, MD, and Chief Development Manager for Alchem. And she has a degree in biochemistry. And Elize, I think you can just tell us more and how you found yourself in this wonderful world of naturals before you start with this exciting topic on green cosmetics. Thank you very much.
Oh,
Over to you.
thank you. Good morning, Safira and Bridget, and all the colleagues joining in. Thank you for joining. So my journey to natural and vegan skincare primarily has been a long one and an interesting one. I am a biochemist by trade. I am not a cosmetic chemist. But when I was doing my master's degree, I worked very much with plant material, obviously, as well as human cells. And I found a very interesting thing. I found that human skin and plant material have a very compatible molecular structure. In fact, it is almost possible to superimpose two slides, one of keratinocytes and one of plant material. And this made me think of the possibilities of applying natural products to human skin. So that was a long time ago. I'm old. That was back in the late 80s. And I was actually working in big pharma then. And I just always had a natural affinity for skincare. I believe that one can grow old without having to look haggard, like like an old hag. And one also doesn't need invasive procedures to always look younger. And I found the thing that interested me first was the amazing cellular regeneration that we get from a lot of plant materials. And that led to stem cell research and stem cells in skincare. So that was my journey. Only once did we formulate and manufacture FMCG, and I realized that's not what I wanted to do. I didn't find a lot of satisfaction in that. I don't like the whole big, massive manufacturing setup. And I just started to research more and more and more into natural and vegan skincare, which led us to where we are today. We completely niche market. We do not bring anything that is harmful to the environment or the skin into our factory. We completely green, and we often have to turn clients away that insist on wanting a certain synthetic material that we won't bring onto the premises, and obviously we don't have in our raw material inventory. It's been an interesting journey. It's been a hard and difficult journey. But we're at the point now where we can say we truly are a successful natural, organic, and vegan laboratory and manufacturing concern. We are based in Tilbach. I moved out of Cape Town 6 years ago, and the water is pure, the air is pure, it's beautiful and green, and that all just adds to our ethos of do no harm to anything, not the skin or the environment.
Okay, thanks, Elize. Just before you start on your presentation, please can I ask everyone to just mute, and then the presentation can be shared if you request via Bridget at Coschem, and then questions will be taken at the end. You can also just put them on the chat. And yeah, thanks. Over to you.
Okay, Sephora, thank you. I'm going to share a slide presentation, which will also be available should anybody be interested. Thank you.
Okay, pleasure.
Just give us a second to set up and to share. So we're just having a little technical difficulty. There we go.
Can't see it yet. Am I the only one? It might just take 2 seconds to share. There we go. It's coming along.
There we go.
Okay.
Isn't technology though amazing that you're sitting there in Tilbach and we're sitting on the other side of
Absolutely.
the continent? Okay. Sophia, can you see the presentation? Yeah.
Yes, I can. Thank you
Okay,
very
perfect.
much.
Okay,
All
thank
right.
you, everybody.
Cheers. Bye.
Okay. Are we there, Coma? Right. Cool. So what we're going to briefly talk about today is going green in your business, what it's like to formulate and manufacture the natural and vegan and organic way. So we're going to look at natural cosmetics defined, a short overview of the market, the challenges, advantages, natural ingredients and the claims and regulatory issues, conclusion, and we'll have a short Q&A afterwards. So natural, sorry. The current definitions of natural products and products of natural origin are based on ISO 16218 standard. However, as far as assessing safety, clinical tolerance assessment, and clinical efficacy, sustainability, and those kinds of things are concerned, there's no actual regulated standard. And as such, certainly when we formulate and manufacture, it is best to meet the criteria of the different certifiers, such as EcoCert, Cosmos, IBD, NATRU, and such. Just one of the things we also do, since we started exporting, is if we export to, say, well, any country, let's just say at the moment we're busy with a big project in Nigeria, is get the NAFDAC standard and get the NAFDAC regulation before you formulate. I burnt my fingers once where we went ahead, formulated, made the products, and there was one ingredient that wasn't approved by NAFDAC, but everywhere else in the world. So that's just a lesson that we learned. And if you're going to go this route, it's a piece of advice that will stand you in good stead. So natural cosmetics, the loose definition is products composed of natural materials or naturally sourced and processed materials. Natural ingredients are harvested, extracted, or collected and processed without chemical reactions to produce the raw material. A natural product must contain at least 95% natural ingredients. And it's also important to note that natural does not mean vegan. It is very difficult to get 100% natural ingredient. We've been playing around with this for years, and my one chemist is quite au fait with working with natural ingredients. The closest we get to 100% natural product is 98.2. There's always your rheology modifier, chelating agents and things like that that haven't yet become mainstream in the natural market, as it were. So we can't do 100% natural products. Organic cosmetics. These are products that consist of natural ingredients from organic agriculture with the use of synthetic fertilizers, pesticides, growth regulators, and additives are not allowed. The use of genetically modified organisms and radiation is also prohibited. So a product claiming to be organic needs to contain at least 95% of the 95% natural ingredients listed. So it's very challenging to do organic products, but it can be done. Time consuming, you're buried under paperwork, but it certainly is doable. Vegan cosmetics, those are products that emit ingredients of animal origin and they're not tested on animals. To develop vegan products, it's essential that the manufacturer obtain proof from suppliers that ingredients have not been tested on animals. We're going to look a little bit later on the actual chain of getting a natural or organic product from farm to your cosmetic jar. So a short overview of the natural market. I'm not going to bore you with a whole lot of stats, but it is quite interesting. So green products are a coveted category which has really taken the market by storm. The consumer group that leads this spectacular rise in natural and vegan cosmetics, according to a study that was done by Elize, is millennials. Millennials were introduced to subjects such as global warming, and a whole lot of other environmental concerns from a very young age. So they are environmentally conscious, they eat clean, they pursue fitness and general well-being. Of course, that's not true for every millennial, but we're looking at the market sector that supports natural and vegan skincare. So then the millennials are closely followed by Generation Z. So they are the purists, mostly. The Generation Z people that are into healthy living and wellness and environmental consciousness are purists. We see that with people that come to us with product formulation and development. They are the difficult ones to satisfy. They're fully immersed in wellness, all things sustainable and natural. If you just think of hemp, clothing, they make clothing from hemp up to building bricks. You can build a house with hemp bricks. They also have easy access to information, which makes it possible for them to research the dangers of some of our more traditional cosmetic ingredients, such as parabens, slurs, mineral oil, and all of that. So they're very informed. So when you have a client briefing with a Generation Z, you need to have your ducks in a row because they come with notebooks filled with information. So they currently make the second largest demographic of clean, green, natural, organic, and vegan skincare and cosmetics. And they will surpass millennials by 2030, it is estimated. Okay, let's just have a look at some of those stats. You can see that in terms of market value in US dollars in billion, in 2018, the natural and vegan organic market was worth about 14 billion US dollars. And currently it's sitting at just under $20 billion. And in a mere 2 years, it's estimated to have gone over $20 billion. That is an awful lot of money that every single one of us can capitalize on. Then if you look at the revenue of natural cosmetics worldwide from 2018 to 2025, we can see that again, our value is in US billions of dollars. So in 2018, the natural cosmetic market worldwide was in the region of about 80 billion US dollars. And now we're standing at over 100 billion US dollars. Just revert that back to Rand and look at the possibility of the natural cosmetic market. The US market, the only graph that I could find, unfortunately, has skincare, hair care, color cosmetics, and others. We don't do any color cosmetics, so I focus primarily on super skincare and then hair and body products. We are busy developing some amazing hair products that fall in this space. So we can also see the trend, the growth in the trend right across the personal care sector, which is, yeah, it's really amazing to think that doing good for the planet will also do a lot of good for our business. There is, as I said, there is money to be made in this industry. It looks very good that we can make money from it. There are challenges. There are people like myself and our company who've done a lot of the groundwork. When we started developing, formulating, manufacturing natural, organic, and vegan products, I think we probably were the only company in South Africa who solely did that and nothing else. And we had to do a lot of research. So, yeah, we've basically had the teething problems, and we're really open to share our experience and advice with our colleagues. So there are quite a few challenges, and one of them is supply in South Africa. Because of the exorbitant prices of the organic certified raw materials, very few South African suppliers actually keep those items in stock, meaning that it's a special import. The order lead times are usually quite long, up to 3 months. The raw material manufacturers will consolidate orders. So if there are 2 or 3 of us interested in the same material, they will wait until they have all the orders, as most of them do. So it means that order lead times can really be long. You can see how that affects not only our formulation, but also the manufacturing that follows thereafter. Also, just one of the other challenges there is that it's also reasonably common that no R&D samples are available of these really expensive organic ingredients, and that we would need to purchase R&D samples. We charge the money for it, so it's not a biggie. It's just not as easy as phoning your local supplier and say, can I have a sample of X, Y, and Z? Then it's really scarce to find good natural ingredients. So I also just want to say that when you have a natural ingredient, we certainly don't just trust the marketing material. I am a research scientist by profession. Originally, that was what I did. So we want to see in vivo, in vitro testing. We want to see the processing and all of that before we will buy in a raw material to use in any of our products. Not easy to find. It is not uncommon for us to have to reach out to 20 or 30 suppliers even to find what we're looking for. And very often we don't find what we're looking for, and we have to substitute with another natural ingredient. So a substantial amount of the product ranges we formulate, develop, and manufacture are certified by various bodies, such as Beauty Without Cruelty, the Vegan Society, which in South Africa falls under the auspices of Beryl and Beauty Without Cruelty, and also halal certifications. So as I've said before, what we also do to assist our clients that export is that we would already formulate according to certifying bodies abroad, like NAFDAC, FDA, EU, and all of that. It just makes it easier for your client to export, that there's not a whole lot of going forward and backwards. So all certifying bodies of the organic material require a footprint of your organic material, the product you want to use, from the farmer to the processor, to the supplier, and obviously the certifying body. That's a heck of a lot of paperwork. And we find that some of the suppliers aren't always keen to do that because it's time consuming. I mean, sometimes we send out 10, 20 emails to say, please, can we have this certificate? Please, can we have that certificate? So, one needs to know that you're going to spend a lot of time emailing, looking for documents, because it goes beyond COAs, MSDSs, and TDSs. The paper trail for organic material can be very long and arduous, but it's wonderful when you get that document. So of particular concern for us in the industry is the sourcing of natural fine fragrances. So we have never used a synthetic fragrance. So natural formulations limits one to aromatherapy oils to create a fragrance profile. The problem with aromatherapy oils, because of their evaporation rate, some of them, they don't hold their scent over a 2-year period, which is the average shelf life. And so we've started delving into natural fine fragrances. They're very few and they're very expensive, ranging from around 18 to about 26,000 Rand a kilo. Your MOQ is normally 5, so you're investing more than 100,000 Rand as a manufacturer. You're investing more than 100,000 Rand in one fine fragrance, and you can't just have 1 or 2 in your library. So that takes a little bit of a financial investment. One of the other things we have also found is that when a product reaches 6 months to its expiry date, retesting isn't always available here in South Africa. So if it's a special import, we have had cases where the original manufacturer abroad won't retest. So that has meant that we have had to write off a lot of expensive raw materials, and this is the way you learn. You learn which companies will retest and which not. So this is all just part of the process of learning. Then we're going to just look at a couple of raw materials that are commonly used and what we can actually replace it with. So these are very commonly used ingredients, and what I've done is just put together a short list of the very common ones and what a natural product, a replacement product would be. So retinol. Retinol is a big buzzword in our industry. It's often animal derived, but mostly it's synthetically derived in a laboratory setting, exactly mimicking the molecule found in nature. We all know that retinol is a benchmark anti-aging ingredient, but we also know that it causes skin sensitivity, or it can cause skin sensitivity over a period of time. Well, then, bucket oil, which is Sorrellia coryllifolia, which is a plant native to India, enters, and it has a very similar molecule to retinol. It's fast becoming a favorite ingredient of formulators the world over and delivers excellent results. We've actually have medical practitioners, medical aesthetics people that have changed over from retinol to bucket oil. The results are really favorable. The downside, though, to this incredible ingredient is that it is not sustainable. It kills aquatic life. So therefore, it doesn't make a good replacement for us specifically. Then carmine is an animal ingredient that's commonly used as red pigment. Horrifically, it takes 70,000 boiled crushed beetles to produce 1 pound of red dye. So beetroot, berry, and pomegranate extracts are a very good alternative, much more environmentally friendly. Casein is derived from cow's milk, and a good vegan alternative is thistle. Squalene and squalane, a lot of people, clients, don't understand the difference between squalene and squalane. So squalene is extracted from shark liver oil, and it's used in anything that needs to moisturize, basically, lip balms, moisturizers, even deodorants. But a better plant-based vegan alternative would be squalane, which is derived from olive oil or wheat germ oil. Then we have oleic acid, which is made from animal fat or tallow and is used to thicken products. Plant-based vegan alternatives are coconut extracts, coconut, olive, and some nuts. Silk powder, I remember silk powder was very popular back in the day. It's also called silk protein, silk amino acid, and silk peptides. So this is obtained from silkworms, which are boiled in the cocoon to obtain the silk. It's normally used in very high-end kind of skincare, in moisturizers, face powders, soaps, etc. A vegan replacement is arrowroot powder. It gives that same feel to the product. Then good old stearic acid, which is horrifically taken from pigs, cows, and sheep's stomach, and is best known as animal fat. So stearic acid, as we all know, is a reasonably primary emulsifier, and it's used extensively across cosmetics and skincare products. The natural and vegan alternative to stearic acid is derived from coconut. There are many South African suppliers who don't supply the animal version anymore, but only supply the vegan product, which is fantastic. Then collagen is much discussed. It's a much used ingredient in the cosmetic industry for its alleged anti-aging properties and lip plumping abilities. This protein is taken from animal tissue, bone, skin, or ligaments, and often in cows. So with a lot of research, I found that the jury is still out as to exactly how effective bovine collagen is in human skin application. There are issues with the DNA and molecular size and weight, etc., etc. So the most sensible and successful ingredient to use for collagen formation and stimulation are certain peptides. I specifically feel that peptides are miracle molecules. So peptides are the precursor to protein formation in the skin, and we all know that collagen is the most abundant form of protein in the human body. So there are also vegan, apart from the synthetic microfragments, there are also vegan alternatives such as pea and marine collagen. Keratin. Keratin naturally occurs in the hair and horn of animals. The vegan alternatives to keratin are amino acids, which can be found in nut and berry oils, such as almond, avocado, and sea buckthorn oil. And then lactic acid. So lactic acid is derived from the blood and muscle tissue of animals. Very popular in skincare. It's one of the AHAs that's commonly used. But lactic acid can also naturally occur during the fermentation process of plants. And it can also be used in a lab, obviously, made by using plants. So those products would be called nature identical. Okay. Sorry, I have just mislaid one of my pages here. Okay. So we still basically with formulating performance and consistency of products using natural, organic, and vegan ingredients. So initially, when you commit to formulating natural and vegan, you significantly reduced your formulation options. The Inky dictionary lists about 22,000 different chemicals that can be used in cosmetics, and perhaps 10% of those would be considered natural. This is a major challenge for the natural purist, and I'm going to give you a couple of practical real-life challenges that we face in formulating natural. So the first challenge that we have, which is a big challenge for us, or used to be, is the challenge to source affordable oil-soluble substitutes for synthetic rheology modifiers. For example, a synthetic oil-soluble rheology modifier, such as cyclopentasiloxane, dimethiconal, and such, is really readily available compared to the highly priced natural rheology modifiers. Because there are molecular differences, etc., it's never an easy swap out. I've learned that you can't take a synthetic and swap it out for a natural. Chemistry doesn't work that way. You need to do time-consuming trial after trial after trial. So to be truthful, except for carrageen, xanthan gum, and such, finding natural rheology modifiers is nigh on impossible. But we are quite fussy and we don't like the texture of products we get that are made with xanthan gum. We believe that we can get much better textures. So after months of research, sourcing, and testing, the product closest to a natural, excuse me, the product closest to a natural rheology modifier is a complex that we stumbled upon, consisting of sodium acrylate, sodium acryloid dimethyl taurate copolymer, and C15 to 19 alkane and lauryl glucoside. So this complex, which is available in South Africa, is certified 67% natural, and the remaining 33% is the synthetic polymer. But that is the closest we've ever come to a natural rheology modifier, which isn't a gum of some sort. The lack of consistency in color and odor payoffs of natural extracts and aromatherapy oil is of great concern. Colors and intensity of scent may differ depending on the season of harvest, region, and such. I think we've all seen that one batch is light rust, the next batch is a very dark brown, and obviously it affects the look of your end products. Clients don't understand these inconsistencies and they interpret it as non-conformance on the part of the manufacturer. So what we have learned right at the outset is during a client briefing session, I mentioned to the clients who are using natural plant extracts, and there may be differences, slight differences in color and fragrance. And we always encourage them to put that on their label. If we average 95 to 97% natural in our formulations. So I suggest to all of them that they have that disclaimer on their packaging. Then there's sensitivity of natural plant extracts. Natural plant extracts are like the infants of the cosmetic ingredient libraries. They often require a very specific or a small pH range with fast degradation of the product outside the required pH. Very difficult if your cosmeceutical moisturizer dictates a pH of 4.5, but your desired active is only stable at a pH of 6. So yeah, it's a continuous search to find the correct natural product. So natural surfactants tend to be less effective in foaming. We've tested almost every natural surfactant available in South Africa, and we've really run through suppliers with natural surfactants, and it's not easy to find. We find that most natural surfactants can't thicken enough to give you a dense, short flow. Some clients want that for a bath product. So they're definitely not as easy to work with as SLES and SLS. We've got multiple issues with clients complaining about lack of viscosity and insufficient foaming, which means an increased concentration of surfactants or foam boosters. And they obviously increase the price of the product when formulated or manufactured, as well as a possible build-up on the hair of hair care products. We use a lot of diesel and cocoa glucoside amongst others, and also would then use betaine together with the glucoside. I want to apologize for my coughing and having to take sips of water. I've had a cold and I have an irritation in my throat. Please forgive me for that. Right. Something which we have found to be quite troublesome for us is that natural emollients lack sufficient playtime on the skin for all products, especially facial massage creams. So a massage is anything from 10 to 15 minutes. And to formulate a product that you can play with on the surface of the skin for 15 minutes is a challenge. So with the natural kind of products that we manufacture, the creams, serums, and lotions tend to absorb very quickly into the skin because we also do the pH just a little bit below 5.5. And it's obviously a very good thing that it penetrates. It's really great for the skin, but the downside is that it can reduce the skin feel and the presence of the product on the skin. Most consumers are used to products leaving a bit of a residue on the skin, and the perception is created that the skin is not moisturized enough when the product penetrates too quickly. So we realized what clients lack is that skin feel that you get when there's a slight residue on the skin left by mineral oil, silicones, and so on. So we found isopropyl palmitate, diesel isostearate, isosteryl isostearate, and PPG isosteryl methyl ether are very effective and great to work with, delivering good results and giving sufficient playtime on the skin. The shelf life of most natural products is usually limited and shorter than their synthetic counterparts. It's our experience that finished product containing 95 to 98% natural ingredients often requires special storage conditions due to light and heat sensitivity. We do discuss that with our clients right at the outset, and that would lead to dark or dark colored glass packaging or a label covering the surface, or sometimes they have to use an outer box, which is not so great for the environment. Also adds a cost to the end product. Natural preservatives tend to be pH sensitive, and there is a limited option to choose from. Incidentally, natural ingredients are more prone to contamination than synthetic ingredients. As Perry Romanowski succinctly says, this is what happens when you leave something outside and exposed to the natural environment. Our preservative of choice is gluconolactone and sodium benzoate. We obviously continue to search more and more. Then, so yeah, the search is continuously on and on for us to find better alternatives. So let's just quickly have a look at price of natural, organic, and vegan ingredients versus bovine and synthetic ingredients. Once one understands the difference in harvest and procurement and development and manufacturing between natural, bovine, and synthetic materials, it's quite obvious why there would be a large disparity in price. To give you a simple example, one can purchase a very common bovine emulsifier, and that is stearic acid, at roughly 18 Rand per kilo locally, as opposed to its natural counterpart at around 53 Rand a kilo, with the EcoCert import product costing a whopping 123 Rand per kilo. That's a steep price for a stearic acid. Then certified organic raw materials are especially expensive given the green and sustainable farming method of extraction or processing, certification, and such. So organic products are really, really high priced. So the fact that your organic products cost more in store isn't just a price loaded because it's a niche and a trend. It is because the raw materials are just exorbitantly expensive. So also, just in defense of the higher prices of the natural and organic materials, once one has tested and experienced the end result, it really is worth the higher price. Couple of myths that I want to deal with is that all natural ingredients are safe and non-allergens. We get that often. I want a natural product because it's safe. That is a false statement. There are many plants which are considered allergens and that are even toxic. As a formulator, it is vital to familiarize yourself thoroughly with the medical safety data sheet of any material you want to use in a cosmetic product. Also, do additional research on the matter. Another myth is that natural, vegan, and organic cosmetics have artificially inflated prices because the products are niche. We've dealt with that. It is just because they are so much more expensive to manufacture and process. Another myth is that all vegan products are natural, which is false. All a vegan claim means is that the product doesn't contain animal-derived ingredients or ingredients tested on animals. Vegan products can and sometimes do contain synthetic ingredients. And then obviously the last one, that lactic acid is derived from milk. It's not. Lactic acid produces derived from vegetable-based fermentations. So a couple of advantages and positive things of formulating with natural products. I know that I made it sound negative with all the challenges and things, but if one is going to address the subject, then, do it the right way and tell it as it is. So some of the advantages is that natural formulation and manufacturing are kind to the planet. Products do not leave chemical residues in water, soil, or atmosphere. There's no environmental pollution. Vegan products reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Naturally formulated products tend to be milder and more skin-friendly than synthetic products. This means less irritancy and skin reactions. Happy clients make our business grow, don't they? Natural skincare protects the microbiome of the skin, leading to less inflammation, which leads to healthier skin, and a healthy skin is always a good-looking skin. That's quite an important point for me. Using natural surfactants such as cocoa and diesel glucoside are much milder to skin and prevents drying. Natural wash-off products such as cleansers, exfoliators, shampoos, and conditioners don't pollute water. Because of the compatibility of plant material and human skin, natural ingredients such as plant extracts and actives are highly effective and deliver high therapeutic index skincare products and cosmetics. And we can really vouch for that. We do a lot of medical aesthetic products, and they are all natural. 95% to 98% natural. And these people give really good results. There's a plethora of natural actives available covering every conceivable outcome desired in skincare, and the natural apothecary is very generous. Just a word on claims. So natural ingredients is not regulated. So there's no regulation and rules around natural, organic, vegan, green, and clean beauty. The area is murky at best. There are very many anecdotal definitions and descriptions around the natural products. Mostly they're perpetrated by beauty brands. If you want to make a claim about your product, go and read the ISO standard I mentioned, and also just look at the regulations of the country that your product will be sold in. Thank you. In conclusion, there is absolutely no doubt that formulating and manufacturing natural skincare product boosts your business. We are absolute living proof of that. It really adds a dimension to your business that grows exceptionally fast. One of the important things for me as well is that when you go green in your business, you kind of sleep easier. You know that your footprint is lighter and that you're doing something good, not just for the environment, but for the skin as well. And that is why we formulate, and I formulate the way we do, is to achieve optimum skin health and then have the financial rewards. Thank you very much. If there are any questions, you're welcome to ask them now.
Elize, thank you. Very, very interesting. You can see you are very, very passionate about your company and going green and the environment. So thank you for sharing. I think a lot of food for thought. There are quite a few questions here in the chat bar. So if I can run through a few. So the first question here is, can ingredients derived from fermentation be regarded as natural and or vegan friendly? For vegan, if fermentation ingredients are not animal derived?
It depends on whether or not your fermentation process produces bacteria. Remember, bacteria aren't considered vegan. Once you delve into the whole vegan thing, there definitely are some. We use some biofermented raw materials that are vegan. We've seen the microbiome reports And they definitely are vegan. So the answer is yes. Again, you just need to find the right supplier.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. I hope that answers your question, Busi. The next question here is, what paperwork do you make use of to vet essential oil suppliers to ensure their aromatherapy, natural fragrance ingredients are natural and undiluted, specifically with respect to essential oils blended with the synthetic fragrance compounds?
You have to go to the supplier. Just in terms of fragrances, the International Fragrance, I think they're called Federation, has a really substantial document that lists compounds in fragrances, or not the complete compounded fragrance, but the different chemicals that make up the fragrance. It has 3 columns that tells you if it's an allergen, if it's carcinogenic, yeah, it gives you a little bit of breakdown on what that fragrance profile would be. So the document is available. If you want to contact me, I can email you the document. So it's called the Allergen Standard of the International Fragrance Federation. When we started looking into natural fragrances, it took us about, in fact, almost a year of delving through paperwork to see what we actually could use and not. I'm happy to share the information, the document that I have from the International Fragrance Federation.
Thanks. Yeah, then you can just contact me for Elise's email address. Then the next question here is, sorry, I think I'm having after I spoke to you yesterday, I think I got your head cold and sore throat. So the whole time you were talking, I felt so sorry for you. I was thinking, oh my goodness.
I'm sorry about that, people. I normally speak way better than that.
No, but I'm exactly the same. I'm battling with this tickle in the throat. It's lovely. It's the winter time. Anyway, sorry. On the next question from Samantha, has there been any testing conducted on cellulose and its derivatives and also allergens for the use of natural rheology modifiers?
It has, and it's been by an American company. I can't remember the name right now, but again, I can look it up and I can share the information.
Perfect. Sorry. Then I think there's one last question here because we are close on the 10 o'clock mark. What is your opinion about preservatives and effect on skin microbiome?
Well, my point on that is very clear. We would live in the ideal world if we didn't have to preserve skincare and just cosmetics in general. So I know that the effect of preservatives is very negative on the microbiome. And unfortunately, we in a commercial world where we make products to sell to make money, and therefore we need to preserve products. What we've adopted as a business is that we have very short shelf lives, and that's also how we educate our clients. Education to your client is key to running a successful natural business. So what we do is we use the least amount of a natural preservative to give products a shelf life of between 6 months and a year. We don't sell them for shelf life beyond a year unless a client specifically requires that. And because we feel so fanatical about skin health and natural things, the client wants to push what I consider to be a safety boundary, which for most other cosmetic science wouldn't be. We let them sign a disclaimer because I know that putting more than 0.5% of a preservative in a product is harmful to the microbiome and the skin as such. So that is just our stance on it. But yes, it is not healthy for the microbiome at all.
All right, there's another question here. What is your opinion on the use of green synthesized metal nanoparticles in natural products?
Just repeat that for me.
What is your opinion on the use of green synthesized metal nanoparticles in natural products?
I must honestly say I haven't given it too much thought because I prefer not to use any synthesized material in products per se. It would be interesting to do some more research on that, and maybe the person who asked the question and I can meet on email, and we can have a discussion, and we can both do some research on it.
Perfect. Yeah, I have popped your email address into the chat, but I mean, everybody that's on the platform is a Coschem member, so they can just reach out to me to obtain that. Elize, thank you very, very much. I think just from my side, in terms of the claims, I thought it depends on what you're claiming. You can't claim natural, can you? Or is it self-regulated?
It is self-regulated, but if you
yeah.
follow the ISO standard, you know, I've made that ISO standard like the Bible around which we formulate, especially because of a lot of our products go outside of South Africa. So that standard says that you can claim natural if your product contains 95% natural ingredients.
Just to reiterate on that fact, yeah. Perfect. Okay. All right, thank you so much. It's lovely that you're sitting in Tilbach. Enjoy your day there, although I'm certain you spend most of your life in your lab and your factory, which is where we all are. So on that note, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Elize, and have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you, Bridget, for giving me the platform to speak about my passion. And I really hope that I've ignited some natural passion in some of you. It really is a rewarding arena to be working in. Yeah, it's just great.
It's lovely. As I said, lots of food for thought. Excuse the pun. Thank you, Elize. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Okay,
have a good day.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.